how much longer are we going to watch these horrific images coming through out of Gaza? How much longer are we going to watch as we watch this famine, this man made famine so deeply entrenched? How much more are we going to watch where we see children holding our pots, holding our bowls, begging bowls for want of a better term, just wanting something to eat? And is this genocide is so deeply ingrained and entrenched in Gaza by this brutal Zionist machinery. We've seen the march, we've seen people right across the entire world waking up and this march to Rafah, and we trust and hope that it is going to go through because we've learned earlier on that they were stopped in Benghazi, and there are also reports surfacing that they will be stopped before they enter the Rafah crossing as well. We're hoping that it does not happen, but we need to continue in our own way. We need to continue speaking out. We need to continue taking action. We need to continue protesting against this brutal Zionist regime. And more importantly, for the children. And this is the reason why we are talking this morning to Mothers for Gaza. We're joined by Ayesha Bagus, and they have got an initiative coming through this weekend, a silent solidarity walk to stop the Gaza Holocaust. Aisha, assalamu alaikum, welcome. And as always, we appreciate your time.
Assalamu alaikum to you and your listeners, Inaya. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Aisha, I asked the question. I said, how much longer are we going to just sit back and watch these horrific images that are flashing across on our TV screens, across social media, across all platforms that we are actually privy to? And, at the end of the day, we cannot sit back because as relentless as this genocide has been, we need to be equally relentless in our protest.
Agreed, Inayat. I mean, this is why Mothers for Gaza was created. We are a grassroots movement of women. We are mothers, caregivers, allies who stand together for justice, peace, and the protection of all children. We were created after the disruption that we did at Emma Powell's talk when she returned back from her trip to Israel. And we really want to challenge the narrative that this is a Muslim versus Jews war that is happening because we're not defined by one religion or ethnicity or political identity. We have Muslim, Jewish, Christian, agnostic, spiritual people that have joined Mothers for Gaza. And we are South Africans of every race, class, and background united in our outrage and our compassion. And we really just couldn't sit back and see these heartbreaking images and not do anything about it. And
Yes,
that's how we
Aisha. In fact, your advertising banner says it all, and in a few words, it actually summarizes talking about saving the children of Gaza, and also it's not a war zone; it's a graveyard for humanity's conscience. Those few words actually speak volumes.
Yes, sir. So the if you look at any of the UN headlines, Gaza is a graveyard for children. That is actually also a headline. There is a headline with the new acronym, Wounded Child, No Surviving Parent. These are things that are so horrific. It should be pushing all of us to move, and it should be getting our governments to turn the dial, and it's not happening. And this is why we really asking everybody to come out tomorrow and to support us, because our grief must be universal and it must transcend geography and ideology. If a child is wounded, it should affect all of us.
Well, certainly, and also I think when you look at this walk, it's a walk in silence because I think for many of us, sometimes we say talk is cheap, but also there are
Mm.
times we are at lost with words, and there are no words left, Aisha, sometimes to actually describe the horror and the brutality, and accompanied by savagery that we've never witnessed before.
That is exactly why, and because I think for almost 2 years we've been using words, we've been using poetry, we've got visuals, and it's not changing anything on the ground for the people in Palestine. We're seeing this blockade of food, of medicine. We're seeing kids' limbs being amputated with no anesthetic, and we need to be able to keep this momentum going, to keep the pressure going, so that we can pressurize our governments to actually enforce action against Israel, to um, stop our governments from trading with Israel, to stop the coal trade as South Africa. And it's only going to be done if we keep the momentum up. And what Israel wants is for us to stop what we are doing. That is success for them. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Cape Union Mark protest in Cape Town. There is a councillor from Freedom Front Plus, Paul Jacobson, who has been taunting our peaceful protesters. And last week, because it was Eid, Mothers for Gaza um, decided that they would go out and support the Cape Union March protest. It was indoors because it was raining, and our Muslim women in Mothers for Gaza were celebrating Eid, and it was actually all our Christian Mothers for Gaza that had gone out, and he'd still put out a statement to say that they were disruptive, and they were standing peacefully outside the Cape Union Mart store at the waterfront. And he also drew a line that said the Jewish and the Christian community don't want to deal with this any longer, and we need to challenge that narrative because it's not a religious war.
Yes, in fact, I'm just looking at some comments coming through from Shamima Dolly, who is the MP for the Al Jamaa party, and she says, we sadly have people who have forgotten apartheid. Too many self absorbed. We make dua that people switch on the humanity for oppressed both locally and
Mhm.
internationally. And she also says, I cannot fathom how people are unable to comprehend the evil we are witnessing. Paul Jacobson, whom you referred to, his brother threatened a woman with rape, and the NPA did nothing about it. Paul Jackson page is constantly attacking Islam. So these are the people that we are doing, and we thank Shamima Dolly for those comments. But let's just come back to the action that is taking place this weekend.
Mhm.
In what format is it going to take place, the protest? And let's provide some details, please, Aisha.
Sure. So tomorrow we'll meet at the lighthouse in Sea Point. We'll meet at promptly at 10:15. The city has approved the walk. At 10:30, I will read out some guidelines from the city and welcome everybody, and then we will promptly be on our way. Mothers for Gaza will lead the walk. So there are about 18 women in Mothers for Gaza. We will lead the walk. We've asked everyone to dress in black. We've asked people to bring an item with them that represents what is happening in Gaza: an empty pot, an empty stroller, a baby, a candle, a photo frame. And we've particularly asked people not to bring banners or posters. We didn't want banners because we don't want to be divided. We are walking as humanity. We are not walking as separate entities. And we just asked for no posters so that it could create a solemn atmosphere. But we are welcoming kefirs because it's representative of Palestine as well as the Palestinian flag. Um, we are hoping to return by 11:30, and there will be a powerful all women lineup of poets, faith leaders, healthcare workers, and activists who will say a few words. I think PSC will also be speaking on behalf of the South Africans that have gone over to Egypt for the March to Gaza.
Well, Aisha, I'm quite glad that you've linked this with the march to Gaza as well. And I see Shamima saying she'll definitely be attending. She's proud of you, Aisha, as well. But also, I think what you are saying is just so symbolic in terms of the nature of the protests, bringing pots, bringing babies. And we've seen these protests right across the entire world. It's gut wrenching, it is heartbreaking, but also it sends a very, very powerful message, Aisha.
Yes, and I think that the thing that's really standing out for me at this event is that we've got support so quickly from our communities. Brothers for Gaza has existed for, I don't know, maybe like a month and a half, and we've got support from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, Healthcare Workers for Palestine. There's a new group that's formed called Christians for a Free Palestine. They've supported us as well. We've got SAJFP, St. George's Cathedral, will also be presenting and speaking afterwards. And then also South African Women in Dialogue. They have endorsed the event. Um, we actually took the lead of the from the event from a Swedish march that took place, I think, about a month ago, and we saw it as Mothers for Gaza, and we said we really want to emulate that, and that is how the protest came together, or the solidarity walk.
Well, it's just amazing. It's just wonderful how we can actually learn. And you mentioned Sweden, and I think I saw a protest in France as well that was very, very solemn, that was very, very symbolic, that had taken place. And it's amazing that how it has taken protest action to another level. And I'm sure it is going to make quite an impact. And once again, I think what is important is to reach out to communities. And in many instances, we preach to the converted, but to reach out to
Mm.
communities. And this is the reason why we at Salam Media are actually very, very excited about our next initiative. Next week, we have a journalist coming out who spent 300 days covering the genocide in Gaza in Bilal Khalid. And this time,
Mhm.
we are taking a peaceful march for the first ever solidarity walk for Palestine in Soweto. And this is organized by the community and many organizations in Soweto itself. And so symbolic it is going to be because it
Mm.
ties in with June 16th as well. We know what had taken place in 1976. And so it ties in with that week. And we're very, very excited about this taking this march into Soweto as well. So, Aisha, these are initiatives that obviously we will continue. And we do applaud you. We applaud the PSC and many of the other organizations who are actually supporting this initiative as well. And I'm sure that, people and mothers in particular will come out in their droves, in their numbers, inshallah, to support this initiative.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Inayat. We look forward to having everyone tomorrow and to having discussions around what is happening and to continuing this fight for the people of Palestine.
Well, shukran for that, and also for your time with us this morning, Aisha.
Thank
All the
you.
best to you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, I see Shamima Dolly saying, Shukran very much, Brother Inayat, for constantly reminding the world on fighting for Palestine and peace. Juma Mubarak. Juma Mubarak to you as well, Sister Shamima. Jazakallah for the encouragement, the wonderful message as well. It means a lot to us right here at Salam Media. But just to remind our listeners, our viewers, about the silent solidarity walk that is taking place in Cape Town tomorrow, starting at 10:30 to 12, starting off at the Sea Point Lighthouse to the pavilion. Very, very symbolic. It's going to be very, very solemn as well. So please, 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 you are in Cape Town. Please make a point and attend this initiative. And it is a protest. Was a very, very different. They will be walking in silence because what we are saying is there are absolutely no words left. We will walk not with placards, but with grief, not with chants, but with the weight of what the world has allowed. This is not a political protest. This is human reckoning. We walk because children are starving deliberately, because their water is cut off, because their medicine is cut off, and because every necessity that they require in life has actually been cut off. And let us continue doing whatever we can. Let us continue because each life is sacred. Let us end the Gaza Holocaust. Let us let Gaza live. And with that message, I'm going to be leaving you next up with Hafiz Imran Chunara, the CEO of AMA Fired Up. And his topic this morning is having abundance mindset. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Jummah as well. From myself and the team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.